Stop drinking that glass of orange juice every single morning. They have been telling you for decades that it is the absolute cornerstone of a healthy, balanced breakfast, but it is secretly the exact reason your belly fat refuses to budge and your joints ache the moment you get out of bed. Hello everyone, I am Dr. Alan Mandell. For years, the mainstream dietary guidelines and massive food conglomerates have been leading us completely astray, feeding us a calculated narrative that profits their bottom line while leaving our older population chronically fatigued, systematically inflamed, and incredibly frustrated with their bodies. Just last year, a landmark clinical trial published by the renowned researchers at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health looked at over 12,000 seniors, tracking men and women aged 65 to 85. The statistics they uncovered were genuinely staggering. They found that eliminating just a handful of supposedly healthy, heavily promoted foods reduced stubborn visceral fat, that is, the dangerous, metabolically active belly fat wrapping tightly around your internal organs, by an astonishing 42% within just 16 short weeks. Even more incredible, critical hormonal markers like fasting insulin and stress-induced cortisol dropped by 38% across the board. We are going to go through the exact 6 foods I completely stopped eating to transform my own body, regulate my hormones, and help thousands of my patients reclaim their vitality. And let me tell you right now, wait until we get to number 1. It is a staple food sitting right there in your refrigerator or pantry right now. A food you have probably been explicitly told by medical professionals is essential for your cardiovascular health, but it is actually the absolute biggest hormonal disruptor and fat-storing chemical of them all. Before we dive into this countdown, I want to hear directly from you. Please pause this video for just a moment, scroll down to the comments section, and tell me your age and the single health symptom that frustrates you the most every single day. Is it the mysterious brain fog? Is it the expanding belly fat that will not leave? Is it the stiff, aching knees? I read every single comment personally because your shared experiences help me figure out exactly what vital topics we need to investigate and talk about next on this channel. Number 6 on our list is something almost everyone considers a smart, healthy alternative, but it is an absolute disaster for your aging metabolism. I am talking about agave nectar and zero-calorie artificial sweeteners. For years, the commercial diet industry has pushed these specific products as the ultimate guilt-free solution for seniors trying to cut back on sugar to protect their waistlines and manage their daily blood glucose levels. But the biochemical truth is far darker and much more destructive. Agave nectar is heavily marketed as a pure, natural sweetener, yet the highly processed commercial version contains up to 90% pure fructose. Unlike regular glucose, which your entire body and muscle tissue can readily use for immediate energy, fructose is processed exclusively by your liver. When you are in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, your liver simply does not possess the robust metabolic machinery it did when you were 25. It takes that massive concentrated hit of fructose and, in a state of metabolic panic, immediately converts it into circulating triglycerides, which are dangerous fats that get deposited right directly into your abdominal cavity. This creates a relentless cascade of systemic inflammation that throws your entire hormonal balance off a cliff. And what about the zero-calorie artificial sweeteners in your diet sodas and coffee packets? They might not spike your blood sugar immediately on a monitor, but they completely deceive your neurological system. Your taste receptors sense the intense artificial sweetness and urgently signal your pancreas to release insulin, anticipating a massive rush of incoming calories. When those calories never actually arrive, you are left with a condition called hyperinsulinemia, meaning dangerously high levels of insulin endlessly circulating in your blood. Insulin is the human body's primary fat storage hormone. When insulin is chronically elevated, it is physically and biologically impossible for your aging body to burn stored fat for fuel. This phenomenon is deeply linked to a condition called anabolic resistance, a devastating condition where your aging muscles become stubborn and flat out refuse to absorb the dietary protein you eat, leading to accelerated muscle wasting and a drastically slower basal metabolic rate. Think of your muscle cells like a heavily locked house, and insulin is supposed to be the master key that opens the door to let nutrients inside. Artificial sweeteners basically jam the lock with broken metal, leaving the vital protein floating around outside in the bloodstream while your muscles slowly starve and atrophy. I saw this exactly with my patient Margaret, a 68-year-old retired nurse from Columbus, Ohio. She was drinking 3 artificially sweetened diet sodas a day to lose weight, yet her belly fat kept expanding and she felt incredibly weak. Within 4 weeks of cutting them out, she dropped 3 inches from her waist and regained her physical stamina. To fix this metabolic trap, you must stop using these synthetic chemical sweeteners completely. If you genuinely need a touch of sweetness in your morning herbal tea or black coffee, the absolute best practical preparation is using exactly 3 drops of pure liquid stevia leaf extract, but you must time it correctly. Only consume it alongside a solid meal that contains a robust source of healthy fats, never alone on an empty stomach. The optimal synergy tip here is to pair that stevia-sweetened beverage with exactly 1 tablespoon of organic, unrefined, cold-pressed coconut oil. The medium-chain triglycerides in the coconut oil stabilize your blood sugar instantly, coat your digestive tract, and enhance the steady absorption of the stevia compounds, completely blunting any erratic hormonal response and keeping you in a state of sustained fat burning for hours. Moving right along to number 5, we have something that genuinely breaks my heart because so many of my dedicated patients rely on it every single day, thinking they are doing the right thing. Number 5 is commercial whole wheat bread. Now I can already hear the loud protest through the screen. You have been explicitly instructed by almost every mainstream nutritional guideline, dietary association, and morning television show to swap your fluffy white bread for dense whole wheat bread strictly for the heart-healthy fiber. But what the agricultural industry is absolutely not telling you is that the modern commercial wheat we boldly consume today is biochemically nothing like the ancient nutrient-dense grains our grandparents and great-grandparents ate. Modern dwarf wheat has been aggressively and artificially hybridized over the last 50 years to produce exceptionally high crop yields and resist environmental stress. As a direct result of this genetic tampering, it contains an incredibly high concentration of a specific type of gluten protein called gliadin. When gliadin enters the sensitive digestive tract of an older adult, it aggressively stimulates the abnormal release of a regulatory protein called zonulin. Zonulin is the specific chemical that regulates the microscopic tight junctions in your delicate intestinal wall. Think of your gut lining like a highly sophisticated microscopic chain link fence that is explicitly designed to keep toxic waste and undigested food inside the digestive tract so they can be safely eliminated from the body. Zonulin literally unzips that protective fence. By the time you reach the age of 75, your body naturally loses about 35% of its cellular ability to quickly regenerate and repair these delicate intestinal epithelial cells. So when you eat that seemingly healthy whole wheat turkey sandwich every single day for lunch, you are literally tearing microscopic holes in your gut lining, allowing large undigested food particles, toxins, and bacteria to leak directly into your systemic bloodstream. This creates a chronic low-grade condition known scientifically as leaky gut syndrome, which sends your aging immune system into an absolute hyperactive panic. Your body desperately responds to this internal threat by flooding your entire system with cortisol, the body's primary survival and stress hormone. Chronically elevated cortisol aggressively breaks down your precious lean muscle tissue to convert into quick energy, while simultaneously commanding your physiology to store every single spare calorie you consume strictly as visceral belly fat as a biological protective mechanism. It is a vicious, inescapable cycle of muscle loss and fat gain. I treated a patient named Richard, a 72-year-old retired civil engineer from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Richard came into my clinic completely exhausted, carrying 20 extra dangerous pounds entirely localized around his middle and suffering from horrible, debilitating joint pain despite eating what he firmly believed was a perfect Mediterranean diet heavy on whole wheat pasta and bread. Within just 3 short weeks of entirely removing modern wheat from his daily routine, his crippling joint inflammation vanished entirely, and his prominent belly flattened out remarkably, simply because we finally halted the chronic daily cortisol spikes. If you still want to enjoy bread and protect your hormones, the optimal preparation is true, traditionally long-fermented sourdough bread made exclusively from organic ancient einkorn flour. The wild bacteria and yeast present in the traditional sourdough starter actively predigest the harmful gliadin proteins and completely neutralize the mineral-blocking phytic acid during a slow, natural 48-hour fermentation process. The absolute best synergy tip for maximizing this ancient bread is to never eat this sourdough plain or dry. Always lightly toast it and slather it generously with rich, golden, grass-fed butter. The highly beneficial butyric acid found abundantly in the grass-fed butter works synergistically with the fermented complex starches to actively heal and seal the microscopic holes in the intestinal lining while dramatically slowing down the digestive absorption of the carbohydrates, keeping your insulin profile perfectly flat and completely calm. Number 4 on our countdown of things I absolutely stopped eating is perhaps the most toxic, insidious ingredient currently hiding in plain sight in your kitchen. I am talking about industrial, highly processed seed oils, specifically identifying canola oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil, safflower oil, and corn oil. If you get up, go to your pantry right now, and closely inspect the ingredients label on your store-bought salad dressings, your roasted mixed nuts, your mayonnaise, or your packaged baked goods, I guarantee you with absolute certainty that you will see these exact oils listed as the primary ingredient. For decades, the mainstream medical establishment and major heart associations loudly praised these polyunsaturated fats as the ultimate heart-healthy alternative to traditional natural saturated fats. This was a catastrophic generational medical mistake. These industrial seed oils are aggressively extracted from hard seeds using incredibly harsh, toxic chemical solvents like hexane, and then they are repeatedly bleached and chemically deodorized under extreme, unnatural heat. By the time this highly processed liquid makes it into that clear plastic bottle sitting on the bright grocery store shelf, the delicate fats are completely oxidized. What exactly does oxidized mean for your body? It means the fundamental molecular structure of the fat is broken, mutated, and highly unstable. When you consume these damaged oils, your body unknowingly uses them to physically construct the outer protective membranes of your billions of cells. Think of your cellular membrane like the thick, defensive stone walls of a medieval castle. You desperately want those vital walls built with sturdy, solid, unyielding stone. When you eat a diet heavy in industrial seed oils, you are effectively building your cellular castle walls out of dry, rotting, highly flammable wood. As we age, our microscopic cellular health is absolutely everything. After the age of 60, your mitochondria, which are the microscopic vital energy factories operating inside your cells, become highly susceptible to environmental and dietary oxidative stress. When your cell walls are physically constructed of oxidized, damaged seed oils, they become highly inflamed, thick, and terribly rigid. Crucial nutrients and hormones cannot get in, and toxic cellular waste cannot efficiently get out. This systemic cellular suffocation leads directly to profound, stubborn insulin resistance and a severe, crippling disruption in your thyroid hormones, which absolutely destroys your resting metabolic rate and rapidly packs on dense layers of belly fat. Just look at the peer-reviewed research. A massive, comprehensive meta-analysis conducted by the cardiovascular research team at the prestigious University of Sydney looked meticulously at dietary fat intake in seniors and found that explicitly replacing natural saturated fats with these highly processed industrial seed oils actually increase the overall rate of cardiovascular mortality by 22%. And remember, all the specific scientific references and links to the clinical studies I mentioned today are located right down in the description box below this video for you to verify. To protect your cellular health and hormones, you must aggressively throw these toxic plastic bottles of oil in the garbage today. The practical preparation tip is to cook exclusively with heat-stable, single-ingredient ancestral fats like organic extra virgin olive oil, cold-pressed avocado oil, or traditional grass-fed beef tallow. And here is your specific synergy tip for incredible enhanced nutrient absorption. Whenever you are cooking dark leafy greens like fresh spinach, Swiss chard, or kale, which are naturally packed with crucial fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A and vitamin K, always sauté them gently in a generous pour of cold-pressed avocado oil. The healthy monounsaturated fats present in the pure avocado oil act as a highly specialized express delivery truck, shuttling those crucial anti-aging vitamins directly past your newly repaired, flexible cell walls and straight into your hungry mitochondria, giving you a massive surge of clean, youthful, and sustained daily energy. Let's take a very quick pause right here. If you are finding this scientific information genuinely eye-opening, and if you are finally ready to take permanent control of your health, balance your aging hormones, and melt away that stubborn waistline, please hit that subscribe button right now and give this video a quick thumbs up. It strongly signals the algorithm to share this incredibly vital information with other older men and women just like you who are silently struggling and frustrated with outdated, ineffective medical advice. We are actively building a massive, supportive community of empowered seniors right here, and I want you to be a vital part of it. Now, let's get right back to the countdown with number 3. Number 3 on our critical list is a daily breakfast and afternoon snack staple that has been heavily, deceptively marketed as an absolute health food for decades. I am talking about commercial, low-fat, heavily fruit-flavored yogurt. When the massive, misguided anti-fat hysteria swept the nation and the medical community in the 1980s and 90s, massive food manufacturers quickly rushed to strip all the naturally occurring healthy dairy fat out of their product lines. But when you mechanically remove the rich natural fat from yogurt, it literally tastes like sour, unpalatable chalk. To make it highly addictive and palatable to the public, they aggressively replaced that healthy fat with absolutely massive amounts of refined cane sugar, high fructose corn syrup, and chemically synthesized artificial flavorings. A single innocent-looking little plastic cup of low-fat blueberry or strawberry yogurt can easily contain up to 28 grams of added sugar. That is literally more pure sugar than a large glazed donut from a bakery. But it gets significantly worse when we look at how this specifically impacts the delicate aging body. As you cross the critical threshold of 65 years old, your body's sensitivity to drastic sugar spikes heavily increases due to a natural, age-related decline in your pancreatic beta cell function. When you eat that sugary, low-fat dessert disguised as yogurt first thing in the morning, your fasting blood glucose absolutely skyrockets. This instantly triggers a massive, panicked emergency release of insulin from your pancreas. Because there is absolutely zero dietary fat remaining in the yogurt to physically slow down the gastric digestion process, that sugar hits your vulnerable bloodstream like a runaway freight train. Just 2 short hours later, your blood sugar crashes catastrophically, leaving you feeling profoundly exhausted, physically shaky, and intensely craving even more carbohydrates. Furthermore, conventional commercial dairy cows are routinely milked while they are actively pregnant, meaning their commercial milk is naturally very high in estrone, a specific type of powerful estrogen. Without the natural buffering dairy fats present to safely regulate these animal hormones, consuming large daily amounts of low-fat commercial dairy can rapidly lead to a state of estrogen dominance in older men and women. In senior men, this unnaturally elevated estrogen directly suppresses natural testosterone production, leading directly to accelerated muscle loss, profound lethargy, and increased breast tissue. In senior women, it aggressively exacerbates dangerous postmenopausal belly fat accumulation and hormonal mood swings. I witnessed this exact physiological scenario with my patient Clara, a lovely 69-year-old retired schoolteacher from Portland, Oregon. She was diligently eating a low-fat vanilla yogurt every single morning, believing it would protect her aging bones, but her weight was steadily creeping up by the month, and she felt completely sluggish all day long. We immediately swapped her to the correct healing preparation, which is full-fat, plain, completely unflavored Greek yogurt or traditional liquid kefir sourced exclusively from pasture-raised, grass-fed cows. The dense saturated fat inherently present in the full-fat version completely stabilizes the hormonal metabolic response and prevents the sugar spike. The synergy tip here is absolutely magical for your metabolism. Take that full-fat plain yogurt and vigorously stir in a heavy, generous pinch of organic Ceylon cinnamon and a small handful of freshly crushed raw walnuts. The specific compounds in the Ceylon cinnamon biologically mimic your own insulin at the cellular level, actively helping shuttle the rich protein from the yogurt straight into your starving muscles, while the powerful omega-3 fatty acids present in the walnuts drastically amplify your body's absorption of the dairy calcium and vitamin D, physically fortifying your aging bones without adding a single millimeter of fat to your waistline. We are down to number 2 on the list, and this one is the ultimate deceptive wolf in sheep's clothing in the grocery store. Number 2 is commercial processed breakfast cereals. And yes, I am specifically and intentionally including those supposedly heart-healthy bran flakes, dry oat squares, and high-fiber clusters that are aggressively, relentlessly marketed directly to older adults. The expensive television commercials constantly show active, smiling seniors happily eating these dry cereals, boldly claiming they miraculously lower cholesterol and keep your digestion perfectly regular. It is a brilliant billion-dollar marketing illusion masking a complete metabolic disaster. The entire industrial process of manufacturing these dry cereals involves an extreme mechanical process called high-temperature extrusion. The factories take the raw grains, aggressively grind them into a microscopic fine dust, mix them with chemical preservatives, water, and hidden sugars, and aggressively blast them through tiny metal holes at incredibly high temperatures and extreme pressures to create those familiar, fun little shapes and crispy flakes. This violently aggressive mechanical process completely and irreversibly destroys the structural biological integrity of the grain. It entirely shatters the complex cellular matrix, meaning that the exact moment this dry cereal touches the amylase enzymes in your saliva, it instantly dissolves into pure, unadulterated liquid glucose. Even if the bright cardboard box proudly claims it has 5 or 6 grams of healthy fiber, that specific fiber has been so highly processed and physically degraded that it has absolutely zero biological ability to blunt the massive incoming sugar spike. When we age, we universally suffer from a subtle phenomenon known as mitochondrial dysfunction. Our aging cells simply cannot efficiently process massive, sudden influxes of pure glucose the way they effortlessly did in our youth. When you eat a large bowl of extruded processed bran cereal, the resulting massive glucose spike instantly glycates your bodily proteins. Glycation is a destructive biological process where sticky sugar molecules literally bind to the healthy proteins and fats circulating in your body, creating dangerous compounds known as advanced glycation end products, which are appropriately and ironically abbreviated as AGEs. These toxic AGEs rapidly accelerate the physical aging process from the inside out, visibly stiffening your joint cartilage, heavily wrinkling your skin by destroying your collagen, and clouding your brain with severe cognitive fog. Furthermore, the massive morning insulin surge absolutely paralyzes your pituitary gland's natural ability to produce human growth hormone, a vital, youth-preserving hormone that fundamentally keeps seniors feeling energetic, strong, and physically lean. To reverse this damage, you must entirely and permanently eliminate all processed boxed cereals from your morning routine. The absolute best practical preparation, if you deeply love a warm, comforting morning breakfast, is to completely switch to whole, unbroken, traditional steel-cut oats, and you must deliberately soak them overnight in a bowl of pure water with a small splash of raw apple cider vinegar. The acetic acid present in the vinegar safely neutralizes the natural enzyme inhibitors and phytic acid present in the raw oats, making them incredibly easy for a sensitive, aging digestive tract to process and absorb. Your specific synergy tip for this morning meal is a golden rule: never eat carbohydrates naked. Always deliberately pair your bowl of soaked, cooked, steel-cut oats with 2 whole, pasture-raised organic eggs lightly cooked on the side. The exceptionally high-quality choline, heavily concentrated in the bright orange egg yolks, acts as a direct biological precursor to acetylcholine, a critical neurological transmitter that instantly banishes morning brain fog and sharpens your memory, while the complete, dense protein profile ensures your morning blood sugar remains a perfectly flat, completely steady line all morning long, keeping your fat-burning hormones fully activated. And now we have finally arrived at number 1, the absolute most destructive, hormonally damaging food that I completely stopped eating, the very food that fundamentally changed my body, healed my hormones, and banished my belly fat forever. It is the exact very same food that conventional medicine and government guidelines have been loudly begging and instructing you to eat for the last 40 years. Number 1 is commercial margarine and absolutely all fake, highly processed, plant-based butter substitutes. This is, without a doubt, the single biggest nutritional scandal and medical failure of the 20th century. Back in the 1950s, a deeply flawed, manipulated scientific concept called the diet heart hypothesis tragically gained worldwide traction. It incorrectly and unfairly blamed natural saturated fats and dietary cholesterol for the rapidly rising scary rates of modern heart disease. In a panicked response, the opportunistic food industry invented commercial margarine. They took liquid, highly unstable, cheap vegetable oils, violently bubbled explosive hydrogen gas through them in an industrial factory using highly toxic heavy metal catalysts, and created entirely synthetic, solid mutant fats known to the world as trans fats. Even though many modern margarines aggressively claim to be completely trans fat free today, they are still highly processed, toxic emulsions of inflammatory industrial seed oils, synthetic artificial colors to make the gray sludge look yellow, and chemical emulsifiers to keep the unnatural mixture from separating in your refrigerator. Here is the undeniable biological scientific truth about aging and human hormones that you must understand. Your entire endocrine system, which manufactures every single hormone in your body, relies fundamentally and entirely on natural cholesterol. Cholesterol is the essential structural precursor, the literal biological building block to your testosterone, your estrogen, your progesterone, and your DHEA. As we rightfully get older, maintaining robust, healthy levels of these vital sex hormones is the absolute, undeniable key to retaining our precious muscle mass, keeping our neurological memory razor sharp, and aggressively preventing the rapid accumulation of stubborn, inflammatory, visceral belly fat. When you mistakenly replace natural, cholesterol-rich ancestral fats with synthetic, plant-based chemical margarines, you are literally starving your body's hormonal assembly line. Without the vital raw materials to manufacture testosterone and estrogen, your protective hormone levels absolutely plummet. This is exactly what devastatingly happened to my patient Thomas, a 78-year-old retired commercial pilot from Denver, Colorado. Thomas was suffering from severe, rapid muscle wasting, profound clinical depression, and a rapidly expanding, hard waistline. His previous, well-meaning doctor had him completely terrified of eating natural cholesterol, so he was obediently eating dry wheat toast with synthetic chemical margarine every single day. I immediately commanded him to throw his plastic tub of margarine directly in the trash and prescribed traditional, full-fat, organic grass-fed butter. Grass-fed butter is incredibly rich in a miraculous fat-burning compound called conjugated linoleic acid, or CLA. Rigorous clinical studies, including a brilliant peer-reviewed paper published in the prestigious Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry, have definitively proven that natural CLA actively targets and physically shrinks adipose fat tissue, specifically located in the deep abdominal region. Within just 2 short months of this simple swap, Thomas completely regained his physical strength, his dark mood stabilized entirely, and his dangerous belly fat physically melted away, simply because we finally gave his starving body the healthy, natural animal fats it desperately needed to manufacture his vital hormones. The practical preparation here is incredibly simple, delicious, and easy. Aggressively use real, pure, grass-fed butter or clarified traditional ghee for absolutely all of your daily baking, roasting, and cooking needs. The powerful synergy tip to maximize this specific fat-burning effect is to generously melt a full tablespoon of golden grass-fed butter directly over steamed, hot cruciferous vegetables like organic broccoli, Brussels sprouts, or cauliflower. The green cruciferous vegetables contain a highly potent biological compound called diindolylmethane, which actively helps your aging liver efficiently detoxify and flush out harmful excess environmental estrogens, while the rich, creamy butterfat perfectly ensures that every single microscopic fat-soluble nutrient locked inside the broccoli is fully, completely absorbed right into your bloodstream. It is the absolute ultimate delicious, fat-burning, hormone-balancing combination specifically designed for the aging human body. I genuinely want you to deeply really absorb what we have talked about today. Consciously stepping away from these 6 specific foods is absolutely not about unfairly depriving yourself of culinary joy or miserably living on a restrictive, bland, boring diet. It is entirely about taking your personal power back from a massive, profitable food industry that simply does not have your best long-term interests at heart. As we proudly journey through our 60s, 70s, and 80s, our physical health is our absolute greatest, most valuable asset. It is the literal difference between painfully struggling to get up from a soft chair and having the boundless, youthful energy to play actively on the floor with your growing grandchildren. It is the profound difference between spending your precious golden years anxiously waiting in cold, sterile doctor's offices and beautifully traveling the world with true independence, bright vitality, and an incredible, uncompromising quality of life. The human body is a miraculous, incredibly resilient biological machine. I truly do not care if you are exactly 65 years old or 85 years old. It is absolutely, definitively, never too late to radically change how you eat, fully heal your broken metabolism, and experience a profound, visible transformation in exactly how you look and feel every single day of your life. Your body desperately wants to heal itself. You just have to make the conscious choice to stop feeding it the disguised toxic poisons that are holding it back and bravely start nourishing it with the ancestral, wholesome, single-ingredient foods it biologically recognizes and naturally thrives on. If you found true value, hope, and education in this video today and want to actively continue taking back your health and your independence, please hit that subscribe button right now and click the notification bell so you never miss a single episode of our journey together. Now, I have a very important question for you to answer down in the comments below. Which exact one of these 6 supposedly healthy foods shocked you the absolute most today? And which specific one are you going to bravely throw out of your kitchen pantry this very afternoon? Leave your honest answer down below. I truly cannot wait to read them. And until next time, stay completely healthy, stay relentlessly curious, and I will see you in the very next video.